Hello everyone, this is John for PokerVIP.com and welcome back to part 4 of 4 and the final edition of the 50NL series on Unibet, where we're basically just trying to find ways to crush the games and make a ton of money. We've seen lots of randomness, lots of limps, lots of random stack sizes, lots of people just punting all in. And we are just going to continue talking about all the hands as and when they happen. I'm just going to focus on this hand here because I've got top 2. Betting pretty large because there's lots of draws here. I'll never fold. Great river there. I'm just thinking, do I induce or do I just go for a bet? I think I might just bet small here just in case he's got like a jack and wants to call. You know, like ace-x of clubs he could have, yes. Oh, he did as well. That was the only hand we could get like a ton of value from. I was thinking if he's got the ace of clubs, then, you know, if he had that flush draw and he made 3 of a kind. But we block an ace. It's just very specific. I kind of felt like he had like a jack, like king jack, jack queen, something like that. But we still got some value there. Maybe not as much as we could have. But I just don't see him having that many strong hands that can call. So, not a blunder there, but maybe a hand we could have got more money from, but I think that's been results orientated. If you play lower than 50NL and you're looking for micro stakes content, then make sure you go check out the Unibet micro stakes series I did, Crushing the Micros Unibet, where we did 4NL and 10NL. Then a 4-part series of how to crush 25NL, and then we obviously finish with this one, which should get us out of the micros and looking at those 100NL games and, you know, really starting to make plenty of money. King 8's always been borderline for me on the button. I always open King 9. King 8's kind of sometimes, but if it's 5-handed, I'll go ahead and do it, just because obviously the hand value and strength goes up. And also, you know, like if people are tight, then I'll definitely go ahead and open. 3-7 off, though, is just definitely an open fold for me. Don't want to be playing that. So yeah, like I've spoke about, you know, basically every time I sit down to make a video, or every time I sit down to play on Unibet, it's just like playing a live game. We need to figure out who does what and why, and then we need to find ways to exploit that. So we can't note people, so we just have to be watching the games and remember that Nasty Ref, for example, has 4-bet to 10 and folded a couple of times, or, you know, I'm better than you, 3 bets too much, or just whatever. And then we just need to basically figure out, was he doing that just with, you know, a strong hand, or is he just over bluffing, or is he a little bit crazy? And then we just find ways to take money off them. Maybe by inducing, maybe by, you know, min raising, maybe just doing like random things, or maybe just playing super standard. So far we've seen I'm Better Than You play a lot of pots, 3-betting, isolating, versus this Kevin guy, who I imagine is a weak player. Like I say, for now, that is just a guess, but that guess is based upon his stack size. Why does he not have 100 big blinds? You know, because most good players will. Going to go ahead and squeeze here. I think 675 is nice with ace king, and I won't think about folding. Big pot brewing. I had 10-5, so I don't really block anything. Quick all in by Kevin. So we get called here by 2 spots. We get a deuce 6-2. I think we can just go ahead and bet here. We would do with all of our overpairs. We can also, you know, hit an ace or a king on the turn and make some money. Looking at Khalid here, he's not on any other tables. I don't recognize his screen name. Doesn't tell us that much, but, you know, I think when you see someone who's just on 2 tables straight away, like Nasty Ref, and he's got like 100 big blinds or more on both, then we can assume he's a regular. Could be wrong. He could just be 2-tabling with 150 euros in his account, or, you know, he could just be doing, you know, something random. But that is a tell, basically. It's basically like the old days when someone's screen name was 3-bet bluff you, and people didn't really talk in 3-bets at the time. You knew they were quite an advanced player, or at least knew that strategy. Dakiel looks like a possible mark. Khalid, of course. Kevin, possibly. I'm Better Than You. Either a good player who's just playing very aggressive, or maybe someone who's just a bit too splashy. Any questions, please leave below. Of course, get signed up to Unibet with the links below or by the side. Free money, deposit bonuses, part of the top 550 rake race, 50,000 a month. Adds huge returns onto your bottom line. I'm going to fold my 6-8 off. Not going to be defending, even versus a min raise, that'd be a fold, but I probably would have defended 6-8 suited versus a min position open. Raise here on a 4-7-8, 2 spades, after I assume Khalid just led into him. 8 pairs the turn. I had no blockers with my queen 4. Going to go ahead and isolate here with my ace-jack, get some value off this weak limp. Over pot size bet here by La Garuna. Interesting. And gets a fold. Always want to just note, mentally, he has, played, quite aggressively over bet before. Ace-jack here, pretty interesting flop. Then I'm just going to start off by betting. We could certainly just check call as well. Problem is with betting is if they raise, we kind of just have to fold top. But, the problem with checking is we just let, so many cards, turn for free, basically, if he just checks back with some sort of king-queen type hand with a club. He might go ahead and call those, of course. I mean, he probably will, but we would get value by doing that. Queen 10, just going to min-raise the button. I always like to stick to the min-raise. It seems to be the most profitable open size for me still. Going to half pot this flop. He could just have a load of nothing and fold, and, that's fine by me. He check raises, and this is the guy we were saying, seems a little bit too aggressive and a little bit loose, and I think check raising on a board like this kind of is proving that maybe this guy's not very good, and he's just like a little bit, too aggro, and he's going to get himself in some tough spots. We're going to fold, of course, for now, but we're going to keep our eye on him. Another big pot going on here between Lacaruna and Khalid, who raises a turn on a 5-deuce queen 7 in position with only about 60 big blinds back. Pretty interesting. These games are amazing. I'm actually making this video at 8 PM on a Tuesday evening, so maybe they are a bit better than a few of the other videos I made of 15L, because I think I made those during the daytime, so maybe there are a few more crazier players here. Love the avatars. I think I've got the best one, of course. But I do quite like this crazy ref as well. Nasty ref, should I say. Other sites similar to Unibet, if you don't like Unibet, or if your country maybe not allowed to play here, or any restrictions, Sky Poker, Tiger Gaming, probably just those main two, and yachting, they'll probably be your best options. Of course, add us on Skype, support.PokerVIP, if you need any help. I haven't grinded on Unibet for a while. I just deposited to make these video series, but I will be checking out the 200 and 400L games and 100L games shortly, which I might do a video on. We will see if the action's any good. And if I can pull the old debit card out and make a deposit, I think it'll be quite fun for a stream. For a video, if I do some 100, 200, 400 mix. Could be quite cool. One table of each. Threes I normally fold under the gun, but four-handed I'm going to open. Like I say, hand value goes up, less people to get through. Blinds are still out there. We're pretty deep as well, so that's okay. We take it down. Seems like quite a tight table, apart from when Lacquer was going at war with the guy who just left. Currently got a basement theme or something here. Ace King, going to go ahead and raise it up. 3.5x is fine by me. Jack 7 we're going to fold. Going to get out of there. Aces, this is nice. We haven't really had much action in these 15L ones. Certainly no all-in pre's, I believe. So it'd be nice to finish on a high, of course. See if Diesel Car can at least open for us and give us a shot. Sadly not, and we get it through. Fours I'm just going to peel here, multi-way for a min open. Fours 599 against 3 people. I'm probably just going to check fold. Interesting lead there by Kevin. 9-10 definitely a button open. Get 3-bet by Lacaruna. And I think I'm going to fold. I think versus a 3x that 9-10 becomes pretty close to appeal. 9-10 suited is certainly appeal versus pretty much any sizing there. King 10 going to open the cutoff. Even though we're under the gun, we are also the cutoff because we're playing short-handed. Get 3-bet again by a Laco here. So we're going to have to keep an eye on him. Going to fold again. You know, ways to keep an eye on him. Well, we can tighten up our opening range. We can start 4-betting. We will start defending 3-bets. You know, lots of different ways to adjust. Never let it get you down. You know, he could have just had aces and then followed by kings in those two pots, for example. So, you know, I understand people get frustrated thinking, oh, he probably just thinks he's owning me, and that gets our ego going, and maybe he just had two monsters. Pretty exciting flop on the left-hand table, but no action. 8-10 we're going to fold. 10 jack in the cutoff will be an open. This will also be an isolation. Sadly, this guy's already ISO'd. We could think about a re-ISO here. It looks very strong. We have some blockers to some of the hands he could have, but not really. So this is more just assuming that this guy is pretty good and will ISO people a lot. So then when we re-ISO, he will fold, and he does. Nice. Lacko just check raised the king deuce king there, I think. He's definitely one to watch. he's a bit of fun. We're going to open again with king 4 suited. Is he going to go for another 3-bet? Nope, he folds. And a lot of people have seen my videos. I re-isolate a lot. I just assume people ISO a lot and then sort of always respect re-ISOs. So very rarely do we get played back at. The only times where we face the heat is when they actually wake up with a hand. You know, I don't think I've ever been in a spot where I've thought, this guy's just like punting it in with nothing versus me. You know, limp under the gun plus 1 ISO, under the gun, well, mid position, sorry. Re-ISO. 10 jack suited open under the gun. Gets 2 callers so far. Big pot going on the second table. Being 3-bet here, this guy's only got 13 back. I've got 2 players behind me, so I'm going to have to fold this. Basically, if we call, someone raises, then it just sucks. Also, if we call, 2 other people call. Our hand 4-way can often be highly dominated. Obviously, if we've got a flop like that, we'd be pretty happy. But, you know, we have to flop like that to win that amount of money. And, you know, you see the type of hands we're up against, so it is what it is. Can't be results orientated. Going to squeeze my ace-jack. Fairly standard. Mr. Lacko's in the pot. That guy's left, sadly. He had ace-9 for that random play, which is pretty nice. He had 10s. You know, if I was him, I would have just shipped it pre, probably. Ace-jack on this board. Pretty interesting against this guy. I think I'm going to opt for a check call. I think he's just a bit overly aggressive and will take a lot of stabs. I'm also going to just check this turn and see if I can get like him to sort of induce or pay me off on river. 4 on the river, I think I'm going to bet small and hope he raises me so I can call. And if he's got a 4, it sucks. But I basically just think he's got nothing, so I just want to find a way to get that. People might disagree with my turn check there, which I understand. We want to get value from him because we should have the best ace a lot there if he has an ace. But just by watching him and, you know, having the blockers and everything, I just felt that was the best way to get out of him. Pocket jacks I 3-bet. I check the ace high board with the intention to check call. Generally, once you check call, they shut down on turn or they keep barreling. Also, as well, we've got the jack to hit if he has an ace, so not the worst thing in the world. And like I say, they generally just check here if they don't have it or if they're worried. 5 on the river, pretty interesting. I think I'm just going to bet small here. It's kind of like a blocker value bet. And I'm just going to reload there. I only ever expect him to raise if he's got an ace. And they don't always raise with just the bare ace. He folds. So, you know, like I thought maybe if he's got like 7s or something like that, he might go ahead and just pay me off. But sadly not. 6s I open, so we're playing 3-handed because Nasty Ref sat out. If someone 3-bets me, it will just be a very easy peel. And don't really need to 4-bet bluff with this hand, so you don't want to 4-bet value bet with it. 2 overs, but 1's an ace, so I'll just go ahead and turn my hand into a bluff and try and take this pot down. But once he leads, it's just going to be a fold. His leading range there is like 2 pairs sets, or big, like, you know, combo draws, royal flush draws, something like that. Queen deuce suited, I open button, take it down. People playing very tight in the blinds. Have definitely found that throughout this Unibet experiences. People do not defend their blinds well at all, so small blind open a lot, button open a lot. Even starting to open wider in the cutoff is definitely good ways to do it. Pocket fours under the gun. I'm going to open. We're five-handed. People are tight. You know, all good. All good in the hood. Nasty ref is sat back in and folds. Definitely a site to just print money on. Really don't need to do much to win money. Interesting pot going on. Just a button open, big blind peel, check, leads on the turn when a straight gets there. Get a walk there with A7 suited. That's always delightful, getting walks. 7-4 off. I think that might be a bit too wide. I'm not too sure how these guys are going to react three-handed to opens, so maybe just fold that, open like 5-7, 6-7, 4-7 suited. Or if they continue to stay tight, then I can open that 7-4 in future. Fold my 3-7 off to this open. I definitely am happy to defend versus min raise. It's pretty wide, but 7-3 off does not fall into that. But we see a 3-bet here by Diesel Khan, a very quick call, and I get 3-bet over here after small blind call, so I'm just going to fold. He gets called, which doesn't surprise me. I would have flopped the nuts again. Obviously, it doesn't matter. It would be different flops and all that. So I'm just joking. Any haters out there? Interesting size bet then. A very quick fold. So he check calls really quick. Jack 8-10. Check, snap folds a turn. Pretty interesting. 8-10 suited versus 4s there. Seems Diesel's opening most buttons, so maybe a good player. Maybe someone needs to start 3-betting. Aces for me, that's a pretty easy one. And on the other table, turn 7 off, pretty easy one as well. Good flop for aces. It's going to have some draws out there. I'm just going to go for a half pot, you know, just flick it in, make it like I'm just trying to c-bet steal, hope he's just got something, but sadly he just check folds. He can also check raise me there with some straight draws, so I was just giving him more, you know, more willingness to do so. Ace Queen suited is just going to be a 3-bet. 6-9 suited is going to be a fold. Just a good old-fashioned fold. So yeah, I'm really hoping you enjoyed this series. I've definitely enjoyed making it over a couple of months. 7-10 suited I'm going to open. He calls me pretty quick. I flop a pair. I'm going to check call here. I expect to have the best hand a lot of the time. Very good enough amount of the time, and also there's just a lot of good turns, like, you know, hearts, you know, 6s, 8s. He bets again on the turn, so he's repping a 9 or, you know, like a straight or a big king. Not too sure I believe him, so I'm going to have to call again. 4 on the river. My hand looks like a 10 or a king X, so if he bets again, I think I'll just fold. I don't think he's often going to try and bluff these hands off this. You know, I don't know how often he just has like 6-7 of spades. So I'm going to assume he's got a straight or a 9x of spades. Jack Queen, I 3-bet pre. Obviously a good hand to deal with. We've got blockers, Jack Queen suited, we can flat, Jack Queen off, we can 3-bet. I then check the flop, and the intention is to basically be able to call most turn and river bets he can make, or to be able to get turn and river value myself. He bets now, so he's repping like a king. Okay, well, what king does he got? Ace king? Yeah, maybe. King queen? Well, I block that. Pocket 8s? Possible. But maybe he's just got a big draw there. 3 on the river, so this will be a pretty easy river call. He might value bet ace queen, but if he bets, he's repping like a set of 8s or a big king, so I don't know how much I can buy that, so we go. And sadly, he's got the 8s, which is one of those hands he can have. But with the king, it just doesn't figure out. Aces, it just doesn't figure out, so we play the hand that way for that reason, and we just follow through with it. He got the maximum, that's for sure. He went pretty big, but I'd expect him to go pretty big with bluffs. But yeah, ace-king, I expect him to 4-bet pre. Same with aces. Ace-queen, I don't think he's bombing that hard. King-queen, absolutely, but I blocked that with my jack-queen. Pocket 8s, yes. So it pretty much comes down to pocket 8s. And that's what he had. C'est la vie. Very big bets. Very costly. Not what we like. We do not like getting pounded on. But, you know, I play ace-queen exactly the same way there. That's for sure. And maybe a hand like king 10. So no regrets on that one. Hope all that made sense. If not, leave a comment below. Jack 4, we're going to fold the button. So when the big pots happen, it was me involved. Diesel's tanking. Nice if someone came and sat in. 9-5 suited, I'm happy to peel. This will be a very easy check call. Once it goes check, check though, I'm just going to check, and I'll definitely call this turn, and if he bets river as well, I'll fold. I expect him to, rep his card a lot. He checks. I'm just going to check, and if he bets, I'll call and just bluff catch, basically. He might have had, like, pocket fours, which is now turning into a bluff. Sadly, he's just got an ace, and that is that. That will happen from time to time. He should probably just bet the turn, but I understand his logic. He got a bet. He got me. He got me for the old 168. Fetan has sat down. We'll see what he's like. Final 10 minutes of the 15L series on Unibet. 4 parts. So 4 part of the micros, 4 part of 25L, and 4 parts of 15L total. So 12 whole videos of Unibet. They will be thanking us. 6-8 open and pretty straightforward. 2 callers, king, queen, 3. It's definitely one of those spots we can give up, or we can just go ahead and just be like, we'll bluff, we'll see, bet nobody 3 bet us pre. We can never win here with this, and I think I like that logic. We can also double barrel, or we can just give up. But we take it down. Deuce 3 suited I open. Definitely a loose open, but Kane and Kevin are not really playing pots, so seemed like a good spot to me. Queen 10 in the cutoff, just a standard open anyway. Is that glass half full, half empty? Is it under the gun or is it the cutoff? I'll go for the cutoff. The cutoff gun. But you see just how many of these opens are just getting through. We're just printing blinds. And, it's good to just print blinds, because they do, pay for those big losses we take sometimes, They minimize the damage. Limp under the gun here by Kevin. Not really seeing him do this yet. For me, this will just be a check. I don't see any point in raising. And just basically hope I hit the flop hard, which I do. And this will be a pretty easy check call if he bets. He checks, though, so we're just now going to lead turn. I'm just going to go half pot. I'm going to get greedy, just want something. He calls pretty quick. King on the river. I'm just going to go slightly over 3/4 and hope he calls. If he raises, it'll just be a pretty easy call. Nothing to think about. And he's got a better queen than me. So this is fun. This is fun. I'm not sad, that's for sure. I'm not sad at all, but that is interesting. I maybe just spaz bluffing or, playing aces poorly or something. 8-10 I open blind versus blind, bet the flop once called, and the turn pairs I check fold. Just because it's going to be really hard to make him fold that jack, and if he's got an ace, we're just going to be firing off into the abyss. King 8 suited, I think we can fold. Queen 9 suited, though, will certainly open and defend versus any 3 bets. He gets through again. I wonder if anyone has counted how many of these opens get through. Queen 8 we're going to fold. If that was Queen 8 suited, I definitely would open there. Fenton limps the button, so we're just assuming weak player. Yeah, just assuming weak player. Pot going on this table. I had 2 clubs, so we've got some blockers here. On the Jack 4-7. But he just takes it down. Jack 8 we fold. Down half a buy-in maybe. Not ideal. It's definitely not been the best video series in terms of results. We've definitely been on the wrong side of many hands. And a few things I've tried have not worked. ISO here by Cobain. I'm not going to go ahead and do a re-ISO here. I think I prefer to do it in position with a hand as weak as King 8. But yeah, we've seen that Kevin just show down, Queen 7 off or Queen 7 suited. So people will start isolating him. And then we can definitely think about re-isolating as well. Re-isolating obviously works a lot more in position because people don't like playing out of position often. So in their mind it becomes more like 4-bet or fold. But in position, they then 4-bet, fold, or call, and they will call wider. Going to fold 6-8 off. Kevin seems to be pretty peely the last few hands, so we're just going to keep adjusting to the game. Nasty ref opened anyway, so it does not matter. 10-7 suited, we open, 3-4 off, we fold. Get a call, flop a pair, gonna check, call lots of turns unless it's a diamond. And I'm just gonna, I guess we just bet here and see if he folds. If he folds like a king, that's good. He might have a bet of 10. He might not want to call with like a low diamond. So we just take the pot down, which is a breeze. King 7, pretty close to a fold, but he has been raising a lot of buttons, so I think it's okay to call. Turn brings us a straight draw. If he calls, I'm going to imagine he's got like a lot of broadways with spades. So I think bombing the river will work a good amount. I think he just called with a pair. Sometimes, but you know, once he calls out, it's like king queen, king jack, jack queen, ace jack, some sort of hand like that with a spade. So once the spade bricks, I bet to take it down. You know, check raising is definitely an option, but he doesn't always bet. So I prefer to just bet big there and make it look like I'm just trying to get super value. It's just one of those things, like if he's got a 9, he can definitely fold that river. If he's got a 10, he's probably going to call, but he probably c-bets a 10. So his hand just kind of looks face up to be one of those hands. Ace queen suited I open, ace jack suited I open, both on the button. No action with ace queen. Been min 3-bet here by Kevin, so this is a very easy hand to play. We just call and play accordingly. Could get into a bit of trouble here. He checks. I think I'm just going to check back and see if I can get turn and river value. Maybe induce some bluffs. He checks, so I'm just going to bet 3/4 pot. And river's just going to be a pot-sized bet because I assume he's going to have like a worst ace or a hand like pocket kings. So I'm going to go just below pot and expect to scoop the pot. And if he raises, I will puke. He actually folds it, so it didn't work out as well as I hoped. But generally, it looks like he's got like a pair and he's going to pay me off. King 9 suited, I'm just going to call in position, flop a flush draw. Seems to be a very easy hand to play. If he bets, I call. If he checks, I bet. So pretty much that. Not a good turn card for us. Pairs the board. King might be live. 9 might be live. Hearts might be live. If he checks, I'm just going to bet. If he folds, that's awesome. If he calls, well, we can probably hit a heart to win. Possibly a king. If he check raises, we just fold. I don't expect to get check raised that often. That's a pretty random line. But I would just go ahead and fold to it. 6-7, we see an ISO again, but not going to be re-ISOing with this hand in this position. These all the time in a tank. He calls, ace on the river. Then I'm just going to check here and assume like he's got like a hand like pocket jacks or queen 10. Yeah, queen 3. Same thing. So like he's just not that happy with his top pair and kicker. I just don't think I get him to fold there. But I would have bet a king and I would have, of course, bet a heart. So yeah, pretty much not the best end to a series ever. Losing a buy-in, I guess. I mean, that is whatever. It's part of the game. But it's always just nice to run like God in videos. But hopefully you've learned some things, enjoyed it. Of course, please ask any questions below. I think we can go for a 3-bet here, by the way. 4-handed and ace. He's opening a lot, so we can do that. So yeah, please do ask lots of questions. Gonna bet this flop, and it's a one and done kind of thing. You know, if he's got like 8s, 7s, 10s, he's gonna fold. If not, he's gonna call or raise. So yeah, once he calls, we're done. We turn a 9. Might have the best hand versus like ace 10, ace queen. But this will probably just be a check fold. He's tanking. And bets. Okay, and we fold. Okay, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I'm sorry this didn't go to plan and we didn't win heaps of money. But it is just one of those things. Ways to beat 50NL? Well, keep pounding on those ISOs and keep the re-isolations going as well. Make sure you get the max value for every decision. Make sure you think about every decision clearly as well. And of course, the main thing, pay attention to the games. Look who's a bit too aggressive, look who's punting off the money, see what people's ranges look like, understand what their betting patterns mean. And every time you sit down, you make that same plan, just like you would in a live game. So I will see you for the next series, and I'll probably come back with a bonus video of me playing higher stakes, because I think I'm definitely going to deposit and get grinding on here again after seeing the games are still perfect. So yeah, this is John for PokerVIP.com. This is How to Crush the Micros 50NL series, and I will see you next time. Good luck at the tables.